What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Zero Lab. Just wanted to do a recap video of my San Antonio regional run. It was a great weekend in San Antonio. It's the best, in my opinion, it's the best city we have a regional in, at least in the United States, but absolutely love San Antonio. It's a great city, great food, great places to walk around. The Riverwalk area is amazing. So it's a lot. It's a city that's a lot of fun to travel to, and the event went really well for me and my testing group. So was very happy with that. I ended up playing Lugia to this event. I just took Kieran Farah's 60 from Toronto. We messed around with it a little bit, but just came to the conclusion that this was the best 60 to play. We liked the Water Ogre in the deck, and that was kind of like the probably the cuttable card from the 60. Everything else seems pretty standard. You can maybe mix up the energy counts a little bit, but Lugia is pretty much figured out at this point, and we didn't want to do anything too crazy, and we just ended up thinking that this was the best way to go, and we thought that Lugia was a very good play for the tournament, which it turned out to be. So I'm going to do a little bit of a recap of my tournament experience, but I did end up getting top 32 with this deck, which is super exciting. Really helps me on my way towards my Worlds invite this year, so that's great. Was really happy about that. Had a bit of a slow start to the season with the two previous regionals I'd gone to, not going the way that I had hoped. So excited to kick things off with a top 32 here. So this is the list that I played, and then I'm going to head over to my matchups here that I played, and we ended up 10-3 on the day, and as we go, you'll see what I lost to. It was pretty crazy. But round one, I hit a Roaring Moon EX deck, which is just a pretty good matchup for Lugia. Game one, I just had kind of a slow start. He was able to pick off my Lugias pretty quickly, my Lugia Vs, with his Roaring Moons by gusting them up. So I lost that one. Then I was able to win the next two. It's a pretty good matchup for Lugia as long as you get things going for yourself pretty quickly, get two Lugia Vs down, turn one, that sort of thing. So I was able to overcome that Roaring Moon. Round two, I hit a Cloth Terapagos. My opponent didn't draw very well, and this is also a pretty good matchup for Lugia. My opponent was just whiffing their double turbo energies quite a bit, so they were unable to attack, and I was able to just set up my board and get pretty far ahead in the games, and there was really no coming back for them at that point. So we're sitting good at 2-0. Pull up to round three, shuffle up for the game. My opponent chooses to go first. They win the coin flip, and then they show me a mulligan, and it's pretty obviously an Iron Thorns deck, and I was like, oh, this is not a loss, but we'll play it out, see what we can do. I figure, the best thing you can do in that matchup is just try to load up the Blood Moon Ursaluna with a bunch of energy, no double turbo energies. So you basically just have to attach to it 5 times, hope they're whiffing their hammers, hope they're not able to gust up the Ursaluna, and then maybe you can take 4 prizes with the Ursaluna. That's like a 1% chance of actually happening, and of course it didn't happen. So lost game 1 and 2 to the Iron Thorns. Pretty much not a loss. I wasn't playing Klefki or Fluttermane, and I don't really think those are worth playing. Round 4, I hit a Charizard. Charizard had been kind of the bane of my existence so far this season. Almost all of my losses at regionals were to Charizard so far this year. I hit 4 of them in Louisville when I was playing Terapagos Dusknoir, and I wasn't playing Boufflant because at that regional, Charizard was a pretty low meta share deck, and I ran into 4 of them day one. So I was happy to finally vanquish my Charizard foe, won game 1 and 2 in that set, and moved on to 3-1. I might have mixed up my round 5 and 7 opponents here, but not quite sure. I can't remember which order they came in, but I hit a Terapagos Dusknoir. Won game 1, lost game 2. Won game 1 because I was able to Ogre Pawn 2 of their Hoots, and they didn't know that I played the Ogre Pawn, so they didn't put Manaphy down game 1. They did put Manaphy down game 2 and 3. Game 2, they drew really well. In game 3, they just didn't find their Terapagos, and they couldn't use their Noctowls. And so I was able to kind of Iron Hands them to death there. Round 6, I hit a Gardevoir. I threw my brains out in game 1, but still won, wasn't punished. I attacked into a Monkey Dory with a double turbo energy on my Iron Hands, which felt so bad. There's just points in the day where those little things like slip your mind, and you can very easily throw. And I threw. Luckily, my opponent was far enough behind that I was still able to win that. And then game 2, I got the turn 2 Iron Hands on their only Ralts. And yeah, it was pretty much over from there. Round 7 hit a Lugia mirror. I was able to go first in game 1, which is really kind of the strategy for the Lugia mirror. Whoever goes first is probably going to win. So I was able to win game 1. Game 2, my opponent went first and they won. Then game 3, my opponent started Weird Pass, going second, and I was just able to get the turn 2 KO on that lone Weird Ear. So I was able to beat Lugia in round 7. Round 8 hit a Regidrago. Again, one of the matchups that we thought was really, really good for Lugia. So I was able to take that down 2-0. Then round 9, I hit my second Iron Thorns of the day. I was feeling so good. I was like, I'm 7-1. Maybe we can go into day 2 8-1, and only need to win 3 of the 4 rounds to make it into top 8. But I hit my second Iron Thorns of the day, and that was just a pretty quick loss from there. Tried to play it out again, tried to power up the Ursaluna, but that wasn't going to happen. So that was my day 1. 7-2, only lost to Iron Thorns. Pretty happy with that. You could say it's unlucky to hit 2 Iron Thorns, but you know what? I'll take it. 7-2. That's fine. There's not much you can do when you get paired into a bad matchup. You just got to take it in stride, and have a good time. Day 2, we started off by hitting a Regidrago. They were playing Temple, but that didn't really end up mattering too much. I was able to win game 1. Game 2, I didn't get a very good start. I tried to saw block their Kyurem. They did start Kyurem, but I didn't get a very good start either. And then I tried to saw block the Kyurem once their switch and their Prime Catcher were gone and their V-Star power was used, but they still had all their rods left, so they were able to get more cards left in deck than me. So the saw block wasn't going to work. And as soon as they played that second rod to make sure that they had more cards in deck than me, then I just scooped. We went to game 3, and I was able to win game 3. Round 11 hit my friend Emmett playing Roaring Moon, which was unfortunate. Never fun to hit a friend in day 2 or really in any round, but Roaring Moon is a good matchup for Lugia, so I was able to win that. Then round 12, I hit a Miraidon, another Lightning deck. Bad matchup. Just couldn't overcome it. Tried my best, but yeah, that's definitely a tough matchup. So lost to that. So no longer in contention for top 8, but still in contention for top 32. Just needed to win round 13. Round 13 got paired against another local, which is just so unfortunate. Hitting 2 locals in day 2. Never good to cannibalize each other, but they were playing Regidrago, and I was able to win that as well. So that was my tournament run in San Antonio, top 32. Super happy with it. I think Lugia was a great call for the event. Only lost to Lightning decks, and they were very low meta share in San Antonio, so you could say it's unlucky to hit them, but I was also lucky enough to draw really well when I hit on all of the other matchups that I hit. So 10-3, happy with that, can't complain about it. Had a really good time. A lot of my friends made day 2 as well. Max Johnson also made day 2, playing the same 60. I believe he got top 128, so that's great. Yeah, so was a really successful weekend and excited to see what comes next for me here in Puerto Rico, going to the Puerto Rico SPE. So hopefully that can go well. But if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.